Welcome to Whimsical Houses. If I sound a little bit stuffed up, as I was just talking about, somehow I developed adult seasonal allergies or something, so I'm sorry for that. If you hear me blow my nose, I also apologize for that. So we're going to be doing this tree house. Let me go ahead and switch over my camera so you can see.
Betsy, my format is different.
Your format is different? I didn't do it.
I took a Zoom class last night with the Department of Agriculture. I wonder if that changed things.
Oh, that might have changed some things. I'm going to go ahead and spotlight my video so you...
There, better. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow.
So again, we're using the work of artist Edwin. If you want to look up his other stuff, Edwin Remrev, I think is how you pronounce it. He is a set designer for a lot of movies like Minions and Hotel Transylvania maybe? I'm not sure. But anyway, he does all kinds of set design houses, and all of them are very whimsical, kind of Dr. Seuss-y. So we're going to be doing a treehouse based on this guy. But before we jump into it, we're just going to practice a few things like how do we get the contour on the branches so that we can tell if the branch is coming toward us or going away from us. We'll work on how to draw these little like arch canopies. And then we'll also practice a little bit of the stairs and, you know, other little bits and bobs. Stairs, yeah. It's going to be easy today, though.
No, perspective, no.
I know a lot of people don't like the stairs. Let me grab my practice from last time. So we're just going to warm up a little bit first. Very first week we did all kinds of whimsical cylinders. Oh, there's Kristen. Let's let her in. We did some whimsical cylinders and we were practicing with the red horizon line, which will tell you what? If you can see the top of something or if you can see the bottom of something. Can Kristen hear us yet? Almost? Yeah?
Yep.
Kristen did? All right, okay. So we did a little of that, and then, where's my other one? I lost my other one. Anyway, last week we did a little bit of how to bring something toward us or away from us. We're going to practice that again. So just get some scrap paper. Here's an old reference I had of some K-pop boy. I don't need that anymore, so we'll just use the back of it. This is practice. So let's go ahead and work with cylinders since tree branches are pretty much cylinders, but they're not even, right? So let's go ahead and start with kind of a cone shape. We were learning with our cylinder type shapes that will have an oval on one side and just a curve on the other. And the oval means it's turned more toward us. So how do I get this shape to come more toward us, just like my pen is coming toward the camera? We're going to make that oval more circular. So you can see I'm making it almost a circle. It's a little bit tall. Almost a circle. But then what else happens? Just like my pen is that long, but when it starts coming toward you, it doesn't take up as much space on the screen, so things are going to get shorter. What else is going to happen? You can see some of these angles are going to get a little bit sharper. More angled, I should say. So if our tree branch is coming toward us, we know that the contour lines are going to be nice and curved when it's coming toward us. And when it's not going quite as much toward us, a little more out to the side, our curves will be a little less curvy. Let's say we want a tree branch going away from us. We're going to flip this shape around, and we're going to have the big oval as the skinny one there, and then we'll go more narrow and just have a curve. So this one's going a little bit away from us. Let me brighten my camera a bit. A little bit away from us so we can see that there's only slightly curvy curves going on here. But what if it's tilted even more away from us? Well, then we have to take that oval, make it rounder, These diagonal lines get shorter, but what else do? They go sharper or more extreme angles. And this one over here is going to get a curvier curve, so a branch going way away from us. So let's try doing some of that on a little practice tree. Here we've got our trunk, and you can make it wiggly if you want, it doesn't have to be straight up and down. And we're going to put a branch that's connected in right here. And we want it to come out this way. So we start making our little outline, and it's going to be a tree branch, so it's going to be wiggly and poking out in different directions. It'll get thinner to the tip and more wide as it goes into the tree. So when I start putting some contour lines on here, I'm going to use that curve to start with. But let's say that this part switches and now it's going away from me, and we curve it the other way. What about this stuff in the middle? You're just going to switch at some point where you want the branch to switch. And you want another branch. Stick one over on this side. And let's say this one goes down a little bit, and then it goes up a little bit, and then it goes back around. This is a real crazy branch. We're just going to practice our contours. So going this way, I'm going to use my overlapping lines to help show which way this branch is going. So there's my overlap right there to show that this part is in front of this part, and that overlapping line right there shows that this part is in front of that skinny part in the back. Hi, Michaela. So then if I start making my contour lines, I'm going to start with that curve where it's in the tree. Make that curve. Make that curve. Oh, but now we come to a direction change, so I have to change my curve. Oh, and now we hit another direction change, so we have to change that curve. Let's do one more. Let's say there's one on the other side of the tree. So we can't actually see it until it comes out from behind the trunk and starts growing. Maybe it forks off into two different directions. Which way do we curve this? Well, if you forget, you just look up at your little cheat sheet here and you go, oh, these are going away from me. So I'm going to go ahead and start curving along my branch. What about this guy sticking straight up? Well, is it sticking up and away from us, or is it going toward us? Another little trick you can do if you have some white tape or something. Oh, I got white out on my finger. You can put it on your pen, and it'll show you the curve. If you want something towards you, it'll show a little white curve that way, and if not, going away from you. And that can be your little cheat sheet. So let's say I want it coming toward me. I'm going to switch my curves around that way, so it's coming towards me, and there would be the ending branch if somebody cut it off. Lastly, let's do a little bit with stairs, the horizon line, and our windows. Usually I mark the horizon line in a different color. I'm going to grab this red highlighter here and say, here's our horizon line.
Michaela's here, huh?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Michaela.
Hi.
We lost Calista's picture.
What?
Nesta, what happened to your face? Oh well. Maybe we'll see it at the end when she shows her artwork. There it is.
There it is.
Everybody's backlit though. You guys got to get some,
Yeah.
some lighting
Front
in front of you. All right, anyway. Horizon line, that's normally where flat ground would meet the sky. But let's say there's a hill. If I have my tree on top of this hill, everything is above the horizon line. What does that mean? Horizon line, if you've forgotten, you might remember that the horizon line tells us if it's below the horizon line, we can see the top of something. And if it's above the horizon line, we cannot see the top of something. And if it's floating in midair, we can see the bottom of it. So for stairs, let's say we have stairs. We're going to do them real simple. Doot, 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 doot. There's my stairs, one side of my stairs. We'll do the other side. It doesn't even have to match exactly, but if you can get it kind of close, it'll be easier for you. Easier if there's the same amount of steps on both sides. So step that is closest to the horizon line is easiest because it's going to be a straight line, just like the horizon line. Just straight, just straight. Then the ones above the horizon line are going to be super easy because we cannot see the top. So those are just going to be straight, 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 straight. Oops. That one shouldn't be seen. Anything that's below the horizon line, though, we're going to see the top of that step, so we're going to make a little squished, twisted little rectangle right on top of that one. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. Ooh. Let's say we had another step. I'd have to make that squash little rectangle on top because we're below the horizon line. But if I have a step that comes above the horizon line, generally we won't see the top. You just have to worry about the side shape, getting this line so that we won't see the top. But once it comes down to the bottom here, oh, this one's below the horizon line, so what do? We have to make that squashed rectangle. There's the top of the step. And then one more reminder, looking back at our inspirational art, are these stairs even? Are they accurate? Are they in the same perspective? No, that's what makes it whimsical. That's what makes it silly and fun. So don't worry about these stairs. Look at this. Some of them are even like curves. That's not even a step. So we want the idea of stairs more than we want the actual tight perspective of stairs. But I find this handy when you're just drawing stairs for fun. That, oh, if it's below the horizon line, you're going to see rectangles. And if it's above, you're not going to see rectangles. One more quick little question. The farther the stairs go down and away from the horizon line, will this top rectangle get bigger or smaller?
Bigger.
Bigger, that's right. So the more it goes below the horizon line, the bigger these are going to get. And the closer it gets to the horizon line, it gets flatter, 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 flatter. And then we don't see the top of the stairs above, so we don't even have to worry about it. Next, we're looking at, we're going to have a couple of windows sticking out of our tree trunk. Because it's above the horizon line, we can see this bottom rim. And we notice that this one is curvier and more open than this one, which is flatter. Let's practice that a couple times. If I've got a window sticking out here, here's the top of it, and I've got another window up here, and now we have to draw the bottom of these windows because they are above the horizon line. This one has to be a flatter curve.
I hate stairs.
This one
More
has
practice.
I've been over here trying to do it and I keep getting worse and worse. Anyway, whine.
There
Okay.
we go. Curvier curve. This is like the awning on top here. If I put one kind of in the middle, I'll have to be curvier than this one, but not as curvy as that one. Something in the middle, something like that maybe? And if we have one way down here, it has to be even flatter than this one. It might just be like, flattest oval I can manage, or half oval I can manage. If this doesn't make sense, let's try it a different way. You've got your tree trunk. You've got your horizon line. And let's just draw the bottom parts. So sticking out over here, it's going to be really flat because it's next to the horizon line. Then the window above that is going to be a little bit more open. Window above that is going to be a little bit more. Window above that, even more. So when I'm saying more, what am I saying? I'm saying taller, basically. The space between your two lines is going to increase. You're getting taller. So now we can draw the tops of these windows, the awning top. Make it striped maybe, for fun. And basically we can see more and more on the inside of that awning. Hopefully you guys are all warmed up. Just a few more reminders since we are working with pen and we can't erase pen. You want to get used to just dragging your pen super lightly across your paper so you can make lots of lines. And then once you come in to darken the ones you want to keep, the other ones will generally fade away. You can see on this picture here, let me zoom in. Did he like plot out in his mind that he was going to put these two little trees in front, so then he wasn't going to draw it? No, look, if we go zooming way in, we can see this line right here, which is part of the trunk, going right through that branch. You can see him going through all the branches. So he drew the big tree first, but he did it so lightly that by the time he came and put these little trees in with thicker lines, we don't even notice those. They fade way into the distance. So let's keep a light touch when we're working with ballpoint pen. Now it's time to get your better piece of paper since we're going to do our real illustration now.
I missed that part last week. I've been using pencil.
Yeah, pencil's fine too. If you guys just want to do pencil, that's fine.
With the pen.
So first we want to make a nice big trunk so that we can put lots of stuff on it, right? So my paper is like that. I'm going to make a trunk that's maybe 1/3, maybe over a little third of my paper. I want to make it nice and big. But it is going to get a little wider at the base and a little narrower at the top. I can darken my camera so you can see my very faint pen lines. Is that better or worse?
Better.
Better? Okay. So it's getting a little bit wider there, getting a little bit narrower up there. Super, super light touch. What can help you with a light touch? Holding your pen more in the middle instead of down by the tip. Next, let's decide where the door is going to go, since the door is kind of important. If you want to just follow along with the master drawing, he put it on the right. if we want to do our own thing, I think I want to do my own thing. I'm going to put it on the left. So I'm just going to put 2 vertical lines where I want the door. And then we're going to put in one of those awnings, one of those coverings that we were just practicing. Now, where's the horizon line on this? We don't actually know, and we don't want to draw it because it's going to stay on our drawing. But we're going to imagine it maybe 1 inch from the bottom of our paper. So everything above it, we're going to see the bottom of it. So I'm going to draw kind of a skinny opening there. We'll zoom in more so you can see. And we're going to add the top of it. But before we were doing it really smooth, weren't we? Smooth and even on our practice. To make it whimsical, what are we going to do? We're going to wiggle, we're going to bump it, we're going to make it a little less steady. Here again is an example from our main artist. You can see this one gets a little curve in there, kind of wonky. Looks like it's been up there a couple of years, doing a good job of shading the doorway. I'm going to make mine a little bumpy, a little bit like a waterfall there, a little side of the mountain. And then we'll come down on the other side too. Make sure that the 2 sides are different. I don't want to copy this same line over on the other side because then it looks funny. That's the easy answer, it just looks funny. Then how do we open this door? We probably need a doorknob of some kind. So I'm going to put a little door handle here. You can put whatever kind of door handle you want. If you want a circle one, if you want one that's shaped like a heart, if you want one that's shaped like a mushroom, you do whatever you want. This is your tree house. But how is anybody going to get up to this door? They either have to jump really far from the ground or we'll need some.
Go stairs.
That's right. So I'm going to start with kind of a porch. So I'm going to make that first line pretty big. And then, as you saw before, just doodle, 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 all the way down the stairs, as many stairs as you want. Doodle, 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 doodle. You just want the idea of stairs. They don't have to be great stairs. If you want to do it a little tighter like we did in practice, that's what practice is for. So you can do your skills. And then I'll need the other side. I know that this is above my horizon line, all of them. So we're not going to see the top of any of these stairs. Not that mine is drawn well enough to check that anyway. I'm going to try to match my squiggles all the way down and just put some lines across to tell, yeah, those are stairs. They're very poorly built, but they're stairs. See if I can get both of them on here. No, I don't think so. I'll have to fold it. What makes them look a little bit more convincing is this shaded area here on the side to show you that, yeah, somebody had to build something here. So on the side here, I'm going to start putting some little texture like tree and that ground. Yeah, maybe a little bit of ground too. Just some bumps. Separate that out. Maybe end it in some grass. Then we'll go ahead and shade vertically. Why vertically? Because this is going to make it look more man-made, or I don't know if a man made this, maybe a mouse made it. Whoever lives here, they made it. It's not nature. It's going to go straight up and down. Right off my page. That's a far way to climb, and just in case you get really weak-kneed at the top, you might topple over and hurt yourself. So our master artist has given us some railings up here just to catch yourself, just in case you're a little weak in the knees. So I'm going to add a little line curving that way, and it's going to go right past the door and into the tree. Then we'll draw another one. The only important thing is that it's shorter than that first one, shorter. We don't want these lines running into each other because then people can't figure out what's going on. There's already weird looking stairs, right? So we gotta make sure that some things are nice and clear, like our little railings there. And then how are we going to see at night? We'll probably need some kind of lamp. Our artist gave us a lamp down here on the ground, but I'm going to do it up like porch style, like right by the door. We'll just use that same general shape. So we've got kind of like a hat on top of a big letter U. So there's my big letter U. Has a couple of crossbars to hold in the glass or whatever material. And then we'll put a little hat on it. It's going to be about the same as this curve because they're right next to each other. And again, it's going to go right into the tree. So mine's going to be a little bit different than his. And of course, yours can be different from mine. You're not supposed to make a master copy of mine. I just give you ideas. You make awesome art. And I'll also put maybe a little something on the bottom. If you want to put a ring down here, maybe somebody hangs something there occasionally. Maybe you pull it to turn on the light. We don't know. This is whimsical. We just want ideas. If you want to make it fancier, you can add, little curlicues. That's up to you. Now, if I want one on the other side, we're going to take a clue from our railings. Is the one on the other side going to be higher or lower? Probably lower, because when we drew that other railing, it was lower. So if I have another light over here, it's going to be lower. Like that. Those stripes look pretty good on the awning. I think I might add those stripes. I'm going to just follow my contour there. Then I'm going to follow the direction of my curve down here to know which way to shade these. If I just shade them up and down, that's fine too. But this one will also help with the direction change of this awning wrapping around. Like if I have a stripe right on the edge here and I change my angle, my pen to match that part of the oval, it's just going to help that illusion that, oh, it's wrapping around because look at that direction change. Just a few more things for the door. Most doors have a door frame, so you can either sketch on the inside of your door or you can sketch some on the outside, doesn't matter, but we're going to give it a little door frame. You can color this in black. We won't be able to see anything up in there. And then we need a window. So there's a nice window from our Master Artist Inspiration. I'm going to put it over on this side of my tree. One thing I'm going to have to remember, it has to be taller than this one. So when I draw it over here, I'm going to make it a little taller of a curve. And get the shape of that awning. something like that. And then it has a round window underneath, so a little bit like that lantern we were drawing, or that lighting fixture. The U under there. If you're going to do any crossbars, they're going to be wrapping around just like that curve. They'll wrap around, around. And color on the inside, nothing in there. And just like the door, the window has some thickness. Has a little bit of a frame. You can do it on the inside or the outside, doesn't matter. And then if we want some more stripes, we can add more stripes. Now, challenge time. I want you to put in one more window anywhere you want. And you'll have to figure out it's going to be curvier than this one, going to be flatter than this one, depending on where you place it. Different things will happen. But put your newfound knowledge to some use. And if you're really not sure and you're pulling your hair out, you don't know what it is, you just ask me. I'll remind you.
You know what? The style of stairs remind me of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, a little bit, right? Like maybe Minions too, I feel like. After you're done with your window, we're going to start making this look more like a tree. First thing we're going to do is decide where we want the branches to come out, and you can just copy our illustration of reference, or you can decide where you want to put them and just use your practice sheet to help you figure out, are the lines going to be curving a lot, a little bit, which way, all that good stuff. Even though they're all different looking, they all get thinner as they get towards the leaves and thicker as they get towards the trunk. I'm going to scoot that over, get mine on the screen here. So I'm going to put one right here, and I want it coming toward me. I'm going up in there into the canopy, something like that. So I can decide I want this part to come in front, so I'm going to give it that little overlapping line. And then I'll start making some curves. The other great thing is notice not all of the curves are the same. He's got a curve here, but this one is kind of pointy. Next one's a curve, next one's a curve. And if we thought of them like stripes, he's doing thick, skinny, thick, thicker, kind of wedge-shaped, all kinds of different things to make it look more whimsical, more silly, more random, more natural and organic. Now my trees, or my branch is going upward. I'm going to change the direction of my curves a little bit. It feels like it's going upward. Like that. So we go one branch down. Let's say I want another one coming out over here. We did that in practice, where we had a branch going away from us on the other side of the trunk. So I know that this one's going to be curving to the right. And again, I'm going to try to make them all sort of different. Some pointy, some more curved. Like that. And wherever your branch ends, you can see we're doing kind of a weeping willow sort of a tree. So you can just put some big, skinny, backwards letter J's or U's, and kind of just add in some texture there to show, yep, there's leaves all over that place. I've got 2 branches so far. It would be great if we could get a total of 5. And you can stick them wherever you want, whatever size you want. If you want them to have a split like that, you can do that. There's a little guy down here. You can copy mine or make your own. I think it's more fun to make your own, but I understand if you just want to copy mine.
Oh man, my tablet is just completely bugging out right now.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's like it's not making lines. Oh, there it goes finally.
Yeah, I heard all your little beepy tones for like, oh, we found a new driver. No, we didn't. Or new equipment being plugged in.
Yeah, it's weird because I unplugged it like by the tab. Finally, I just unplugged it like the part that connects to the tablet and plugged it in, and suddenly all those marks I've been trying to make suddenly appeared.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, weird.
Even worse when it's on your printer and then all that stuff you were trying to tell it to print all prints out. Nope, I don't need that anymore.
One, two, three.
After you've got all your branches in, the ones that we can see going into the trunk will have a couple of ovals around them. I say ovals loosely, more like a rippling sort of shape just around them. Just one or two on the ones that are facing us. The ones on the other side of the tree we can't see, but the ones that are facing us, go ahead and add those. There's the example of our master artist right there. He's got a couple of ovals going around. So next, we're going to give some texture to the trunk. And what we're looking at here is a little bit of some kind of like vertical-ish lines. And then we've got some cross contour lines, making it curve as it goes up. So we're going to start out with these vertical lines. We're just going to make some wiggly lines coming down our trunk. And we want them to be uneven. We want them to kind of wander down our whole trunk. You're going to have to squish it around your windows. And we don't want a whole lot. We're not making a striped tree. We just want a couple that will break up our cross contour lines. So for instance, there's some of mine. So I'm going to pick two. Let's say I pick these two lines right here to be the boundaries of my cross contour lines. And it's above the horizon line. So down here, we're going to start kind of flat. I'm just going to make a few. As I go up, they're going to get a little curvier. A little curvier. If you're not sure how curvy, look at the nearest window. That's about as curvy as I should get right there. Once I get up to this window, my curves are going to be, whoa, way curvier. And then they'll just kind of come in the middle, where they're in the middle. Once I get above this window, they should get even curvier, curvier, curvier. And remember, this is just texture. We're not going to make any real solid stripes like on the awning. We're just giving a little bit of roundness to the trunk. So let's say I pick these two lines as my next set. So I'm going to put some cross contours in there. Again, I'm looking at how curvy is my awning. Not that curvy, it's kind of flat. So my lines here will be kind of flat. Let me zoom in so you can see that better. Focus, focus. There we go. So down here, they'll be kind of flat. As I go further down and closer to the horizon line, they'll get even flatter, straight across. But as I go up, and I go up and up and up and up and up and up and up, clear up to this window where there's a big curve, that means this one is going to be very curved. I'm just dropping in a couple of marks every so often. Go up, 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 up. You don't have to do every other one. I could come in and do this one here if I wanted and make another kind of ridge on this tree trunk. You can also come in and put a couple of additional vertical lines if you don't want that spot to have the cross contour. That's fine too. Remember, we want variation. Things are uneven, kind of silly and wonky. If you feel like this space is too blank and too big, just add another set of vertical lines in there. And you can start filling it up. Just keep in mind, is it going to be flat? Is it going to be curvy? If it is going to be curvy, how curvy is it going to be? Look for the nearest window for a clue. How do you know when you're done? Well, you kind of take a breath, step back, and you let your eyes just kind of go over your piece, and you find if they stick into any big blank space. You go, oh, I must need something here because this is too different from the rest of it. Doesn't mean you have to fill it up, it just means you have to make a couple of marks. And you let your eyes go kind of blank, kind of soft again. You go, where am I being pulled to? What's calling for lines? This part up here. A couple. This is what's sometimes referred as letting your art speak to you. It'll tell you, I need more lines over here because it's too blank. Not everybody's art talks like that, but a lot of times when you're working on a piece and you're working on it and you're working on it, if you just step back, get yourself a snack, just kind of softly look at your art, it'll tell you what it needs. So now we've got this awesome looking trunk that is floating in space, which is not great. We probably want it to be a little more grounded. And once it gets to the ground, we get these cool little roots coming out and driving up all over the place. So we're going to do a couple of bumps over here for a root. Not more stairs. Same kind of thing. It's going to get thicker as it goes back to the tree and thinner as it goes away from the tree. Eventually it goes into the ground so you can put some little grass down there. And we can do the same thing of contours and cross contours. But to make it look a little different from the tree, he shaded it in. So if you're just going to shade it in, that's fine too. Don't have to worry about all that stuff. Just color it in. Then I make the lines get farther and farther apart, lighter and lighter on my pen, so it'll just transition right into the trunk. And maybe there's a little rock that lives here. On the top, you'll do the rock kind of shape, but then on the bottom, we'll do a little bit more like grass or a little bumpier. Make it look like it's really stuck in there. You can give that a little color too. Let me go to this side of our master drawings. You can kind of see how he's done it. He's got all these little, just little weird shapes, and they don't necessarily look like rocks, but somehow they feel like rocks. Just because what else would be sitting there in the grass? You can do funny little shapes, little families of rocks. You can put some on the other side too. Over on this side, he's got them kind of covering up the tree on that side. I might put some pile of rocks over here. Just coloring them in so that the stairs can pop out. Maybe there's another root somewhere in the front. Scraggling down here. Maybe there's a dandelion that's ready to blow on. And then I think it'd be fun to put in one of these little trees kind of growing in at the base. So I've got a blank spot over here. You might have a blank spot somewhere else on your page, or if you don't have any blank spots, you can always stick it behind the tree and just draw it behind in there. So for these littler trees, look at how not straight they are. They're almost more wiggly than the branches we were drawing. So really wiggly shapes, but what do they all have in common? Thicker at the source, thinner at the leaves. So you can wiggle your little trees around. I'll try to put them both on the screen here. Just going to wiggle my line around. Pretty wiggly, looks like a snake or a worm, that's okay. And make it thin at the tip and get it thicker, thicker, thicker as it goes down. And lucky for us, these are all colored in, so if you didn't make it thick enough at the base, you just keep adding on to it because you're going to color it in later anyway. And none of these are by themselves. They all have little things branching off. So after you make your first little curvy thing, you got to find a spot to make another little curvy thing. Mine's really going out sideways, so maybe I need one on the top too. This one has a branch off right at the base, right at the trunk there. And maybe I've got another little guy growing up right here. After you got your trunk shape, he's basically doing the same thing. Let me zoom in closer so you can see. Autofocus. So what are we seeing? We're seeing some vertical lines and some crosshatch lines. And even though they're very tiny, are they curving up or curving down? They're curving up because they're above the horizon line. So when I go back to my little tree here, I'll do the same thing. I'll put a couple of vertical lines running down.
You're back.
And then I'll add some little curvy lines. You can just color it in dark too if you'd rather, that's fine. And then we're going to have a little bit different type of leaves that are going to stick up. And you're just going to go bounce, 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 bounce all the way around. Or you might have a couple little tufts like this one up here where there's a little bit more spherical in shape. That's up to you, whatever style you like the best.
I'm sorry if you hear the cartoons in the background.
Nope, I can't hear
I just muted for that.
them.
I'm finding it hard to add things because I feel like I have to push darker on with my pen.
Oh, right, right.
It overlaps okay.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to switching from pencil to pen for sure.
It's a good exercise though.
Yeah. And I like that this style of drawing pushes you for ideas more than draftsmanship. Because even though we're drawing kind of silly and loose and sketchy, we need ideas to fill up this page, which is going to come up next, actually. Let's see, how many more minutes do we have? Oh, just about 5 more minutes. So I want you to take a minute, and maybe not a whole minute, maybe 20 seconds. Think about life and what you need to live. And we have a light so we can get in the door, but where do they hang the laundry? Where do they park the car? How do they get electricity? How do they get water? Think of something and put it in. If you're just like, oh, that's too much, I don't know how to do that. You just draw a little laundry line. Done. And then after that, I'll just give you a hint. After you put in your little sign of life, we're going to sketch out the outline for this big black piece. Don't fill it in with your ballpoint pen. That'll take you 5 years. Get a Sharpie or something, and then you can color in that dark space real quick, and it'll really make your trunk pop out. Okay, go. 5 minutes.
Oh, bell pin.
Can we see everybody's?
Oh, 4:59 already. All right. Well, let's see how far we got. I'll have to finish this on my own time. I'm going to cancel my spotlight video, and anybody who's ready to share, go for it. I will go ahead and spotlight your video. Martha, you ready?
Yeah, well, let's look at Kristen's, though. She
Oh,
has.
Kristen, you're ready. Okay, let me spotlight Kristen's
Click on
video for
her.
everybody. Hey, hey,
Oh.
hey!
Wow.
That's a pretty great tree house. I'd want to live there.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. You know, I found it on mine here. Let me see if I can. in on it.
Ooh, look at that cheeky, nice.
Blurry.
It's a little bit blurry. Let's see if it'll autofocus.
Kind of. Just give it a little moment to adjust. Now, see, I don't have like a fixed place for my webcam. That's why.
Oh no. Well, there we can see the forms, the major forms, which look good.
I found it hard to add more things because I thought, oh my gosh, I'm losing a focal point here. But I have the laundry on the bottom. I just kind of.
Oh, there it is. Cute.
Oh, cute.
If you can see it a little.
Yeah. And I think once you have the black of the foliage, it kind of helps with the focal point also.
Is it
Yeah, I
like-
really like your big arms, limbs.
Yeah, your big limbs coming out are nice. And that's,
They really have that bottom darkness that I didn't focus on doing that. And that really makes them look
Not either.
round.
yeah.
Back to the
Nice.
pen. I can do it.
Okay, how about Stephanie?
How about it? Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
another brick house.
Oh, you have an extra window.
Yeah, that's because I screwed up the limb. It's
Oh, well, that's a good
right
one.
out.
They had a happy accident.
And there's my fairies.
Oh, some little fairies in there. Look at that. Cute.
Yeah, my life forms.
How about you, Calista? You have anything you want to share?
Watch her kick our butt. Let's see.
Wow.
Oh,
I like that
Oh,
flower.
I love your stairs. Those stairs are fun.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
you have to go way high up to get on that into your door.
Yeah. Well, if you're a fairy, it doesn't matter.
How about Mickey?
How about you, Michaela? You got anything you want to show? Yes?
Or Michaela.
Oh, she's muted for some reason. That might mean that she's away from her keyboard at the moment. Well then, I will see some of you in the next class. I will see some of you next week. Thank you for making a whimsical. Oh, Calista, do you have somebody else's work?
Oh,
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, look at that.
You did too.
oh, I love those branches.
You did too.
Now those, I know that. We got the extra Stephanie there hiding in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And never have enough Stephanies, I tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody got their branches so good, and that was the point of today's lesson. So yeah.
Oh.
Hey, Betsy, you got your
I
point.
go back and do mine like Martha's, so they all have a bottom. It's a little heavier.
I like that. Did you just use a feathery touch and just kind of shaded it in?
Yeah. Okay, so next up is fairies, and like I said, I'll see some of you over there, some of you next week or on Friday. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Betsy.
Thanks, Betsy.
Thanks, Betsy. Bye-bye.